Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. I hope you enjoy, so let's get started. This past week I found some items at the Restore. I haven't found much at Restores in a while, however it looks like that in the last video, but really that was a combination of like 4 weeks put together into that last video. I just haven't had a chance to really do anything, and it's been a million degrees in the garage, so it's not really, encouraging to be out here sweating while you're working on things, but it's a little cooler today, so here we are. Okay, so this week I have found some advanced ballasts. These are dual F40 T12 fluorescent rapid start ballasts, all brand new in box. They were $7 a piece, but they were 50% off for the purple tags. So what would that be, about $3.50 a piece? Not bad at all. And these actually are new old stock, unlike that one that I found at the thrift store that was used. You can even see some weird mold going on here, but you know what? Not too worried about it, because we got some nice new old stock advanced ballasts. I wonder if they have, yeah, we do have some type of date here on the bottom, so I'm sure they're all from about that same time period, but they're all the exact same thing. High power factor F40 T12 style ballasts. These also do the 34 watt and 35 watt versions of the lamps. Energy savers. So that is nice to have around, especially since I had one go bad. I obviously had my parents bring one out to fix that, but it's not a bad idea to pick up these ballasts when you can find them. They're getting so much harder to find. But that wasn't the only thing I found at this thrift store. I also picked up this 400 watt mercury vapor bulb. It was the full price of $5, but that's a really good deal for a brand new old stock 400 watt mercury vapor bulb. This is a Chinese made Sylvania. It is ED in shape. If I can even get it out of the package here, we'll take a look. Here is the etch. It doesn't say made in China on it, but the box does say so there. I can't really get a good look inside, but it does have a nice clean arc tube, as you can see there. So again, not a bad find. You can always use a mercury vapor bulb. But I'm out here in the garage. I'm going to wire up some cords on these these are Enertron PL fixtures here. And I'm thinking I have a good home for these actually. We have our under cabinet display here, but to be honest, I haven't found many under cabinet lights to add to this in recent times, but there's definitely some space here. We could add the PL fixtures. Why not? It'll fill up the board and make it unique. So I'm thinking that's where they will end up once I get cords on them. We got a whole bunch of old cords off of equipment from work, so now we just need to put them on the fixtures. I'm thinking what I'm going to do is actually drill little holes in them so that they can accommodate the wire without needing to be on an electrical box. I think that would be the easiest solution to keep them nice and flush. Here's one, and this is probably the most interesting one because it uses this very interesting FLU 18 watt Panasonic bulb here. And this is the ballast for it. I'm not sure, does it say preheat on it? It must have an internal starter or something. But we got it all wired up. I drilled out one of the rivets here so we have a place to put a ground just to be safe about it in case it is rapid start. I kind of doubt it. I'm thinking it's preheat. I don't think I've ever turned this thing on, to be real honest with you. Picked it up at the Restore many years ago. So let's put it together and turn it on. Let's see what we get. Preheat. Yep, it's preheat all right. Oh, that's cool. Okay, and here's our shade to go over it. Love that. Lights of America was never known to have the highest quality stuff, but this little wall light here is just as cheap as ever. We have a simple little choke ballast here. Nothing written on it at all. It literally just clips in here. This wire fits into a socket here that doesn't even hold onto it well. And then of course we have our other wire, and the whole thing's literally plastic. I mean, there's no surprise, but it's just so simple, it's crazy. We're gonna drill a hole here in the bottom, and that's gonna be where our cord comes in. There's another one, all wired up. Preheat, of course. Not too blink happy. And we got our cover on it here. There we go. And another one. Ooh, that was some good preheat action. Beautiful. Another one. Single lamp. And our last one. Gotta love these PL lights. They're just going away everywhere, you know. Everything's going LED. There's nothing exciting like this anymore. We got our pile of fixtures that we put cords on last night, and now it's finally time to get them up in their new home. So they actually do fit right here perfectly, and the Lights of America one fits right here perfectly. So that's what we're going to do. And at least it'll fill up this board a little bit. They're not under cabinet lights, but they do have a nice home, and they are a ceiling style of fixture, so I think it'll go okay. They're mounted on the board here now. As you can see, we got the Enertron 3 over here, the Lights of America in the middle. It fits in that little bump there perfectly. And then we have this 18 watt U bent one here. Now I left a gap just in case, you know, maybe you'll find another lampy 8 watt light. At least there'd be a spot for it there, or some other brand. But yeah, it leaves a spot for it. And of course we have a little bit of area here for future expansion. But for now, I'm happy with that. Now we just need to get the wires around, and let's give it a go. Here we go. Isn't that some beautiful preheat? This annoying thing isn't on because it's really annoying. Let's do it again. Awesome. This is an interesting under cabinet light. It has a 13 watt T5 bulb and an 8 watt T5 bulb. In fact, this fixture came from my father's garage. It was used underneath a shelf for many, many years, picked up at a local restore way back in the day, and, well, it ended up out here. Now, I haven't really found a location to use this thing, but the parts that it has, I think, are more valuable than the fixture itself. We have some preheat ballasts. We have the starter sockets that clip in, which is the most amazing thing here to me, really. The clip-in ones. I have the screw-in ones, but it'd be nice to have some clip-in ones. And, well, the parts are just worth more to me. So I'm going to go ahead and take this thing apart, and let's see what we get out of it. Here's the insides. Obviously, we have our starter socket here. We got our nice Robertson ballast. Now, it looks like it basically only does these T5 bulbs. Looks like there's some other style ones here. Not entirely sure what those are off the top of my head. Dulux makes me think of like, you know, a PL bulb or something. But that says D, so it's like a 2D lamp? I don't know. Anyway, we got our sockets. We got our little 8 watt ballast here. Let's see, that's also made by Robertson, by the looks of it there. And of course our starter socket. So some very nice parts here, from lamp holders, starter sockets, ballasts, many great things that can be used for future projects. And we ended up with our Robertson ballast, a Sylvania bulb, some wires of course, a old Sylvania FS4 starter, the New Light brand starter, which I'm sure is original to the fixture, just an FS5. Our little Robertson transformer here, this is for a 4, 6, or 8 watt bulb, so maybe we'll have to have some fun and make some fixture out of this. That'll be cool. Our starter sockets, the clip-in type. Some lamp holders for T5 bulbs. Now these are interesting, they're a bit wider than normal, but they also accept wires by being shoved into the little clamps here instead of having wires that are soldered directly on. So that's unique, and of course our wire nuts, and a pretty modern GE bulb. But not bad. all some good parts for future projects. So, I've talked about, in I think a previous clip or video or whatever, about moving the implements here to do yard work and whatnot over to underneath the shelves here to create more space for, well, lights. As we have done on this side of the room, we have made a nice display here and we can enjoy and look at all the different lights. And I mean, if I have them, they should be out and enjoyed for everyone here, even on the videos for all of you, of course. So, I'm going to move some items here, maybe get rid of some things. We'll see what we all find, I guess. And try to move maybe that board or something underneath over here so that we have a place to hang everything. And, well, we'll get some type of board or something on the wall here so that we can enjoy and put more lights up. Now, with that being said, we have a lot of very nice NEMA heads here and this McGraw-Edison handyman thing, but it uses a lot of real estate here just being on the wall. So, I'm thinking of getting shorter arms for these fixtures, very much the same idea as all of the street lights are mounted over here, and getting them closer to the wall. I think that will make some more space here, of course, and, well, we'll have more space on the wall to put up more of these, because I have some very wonderful fixtures that are going to be cleaned up here shortly, and they need a home too. I picked up this Lime Materials NEMA head quite a while ago. I cleaned up the head and everything. I still need to do the reflector assembly, so that one I'd like to put on display somehow. I received this wonderful incandescent teardrop fixture here as a wonderful donation to the channel with the really cool GE teardrop on it. That thing is awesome. I want to put that on display. And of course, most recently, the Trafficvision. I want to find a place to put this once it's done. So we have these 3 fixtures. I'm going to work through all of them to get them cleaned up here and in, well, upcoming video clips and whatnot. But I want to have a home for them when they're done. And I've always thought about putting something inside too, kind of down in the, basement area. Maybe a street light will end up having its home there, if I will construct sentences today. But all these fixtures I'd love to have homes for. So that is the idea, is to construct something that we have more room to do so. One of the items over there is this GE clip light. It's all original, but the problem is that the switch in this thing is total garbage. So I'm just taking it apart. But let's see here. I drilled out this rivet that holds the socket on. And I mean, we do have this cage here, and the cage is nice. So I don't know if I'll be able to save much of anything, but it is all original GE. This switch is just really garbage. Of course, we moved everything, so that's good. Cleaned up. Happy about that. A couple spiders, well, we got, we'll take care of that. But anyway, we got everything off the wall here, so I'm gonna try to move that board over beneath the shelving here. Try to put it in between the 2 outlets, since, I mean, there's outlets here. We might as well leave them accessible naturally. And the longest item, the weed whip, does fit underneath there, so that's awesome. So that's the next step. And there we go. Here's our new wall. A lot neater. I do like it here. It's a little bit more compact. Now, sure, some things are overlapping, but the items that I use the most often are at the front. Things that I don't use the most are at the back. So this should work out fine. The only thing I don't like about this is that I have the 2 ladders over here. This one's fine, but this one's kind of in the way because I really wanted to have lights items. So we'll see what happens to that or where it'll go in the future as we slowly fill up the wall with lights. But that is how it turned out. I'm pretty happy with it. With this project done and another day, it's time to finally restore some wonderful fixtures. I got this wonderful NEMA head here quite some time ago, and I cleaned up the head and the ballast and all that stuff, but I never got around to cleaning up its refractor assembly here. Now this is a Lime Materials head. as you can see there. And this is a Lime Materials refractor. For some reason I thought it was a GE, but it's got their name on it right there. I think I thought it was GE because of the clips, but anyway, it has a spring that holds on the reflector to the refractor. So we'll take this ring off and we'll go ahead and clean it up. All cleaned up. I don't have a utility sink, but I do have a bucket with water in it. So that works out just fine, and they're nice and clean now. While I have the bucket of water here, we'll clean up this awesome teardrop fixture. That thing is really cool. I'm looking forward to getting it up somewhere. And then we'll work on the Trafficvision here and start cleaning it up as well. Things are drying under the help of the heat fan, so that is awesome. I still haven't cleaned the Lumalex refractor yet. I'm going to do that separately in its own clean water, because I tell you what, that's not really clean. But we're going to move our attention now to the wonderful Philips Trafficvision fixture here, and I'm going to slowly take it apart and we'll get it all cleaned up. At least first we're going to get it a little bit of a bath, kind of get some of the stuff off of it, and then after that we'll kind of give it a sanding to sand down the fiberglass fibers, and we're gonna have to be careful with that because this is fiberglass, and then we'll go from there. So this is what it looks like currently, and this is what it should look like soon, cleaned up. So this is nice. The ballast compartment comes right off. As you can see, there's a little gap here for the little pieces to come sliding out, very similar to some of the floodlight covers we have over here. And I'm going to do the ballast tray separately. I'm not going to dunk it in water like I'm doing all this other stuff. But that is a nice little feature that the whole thing comes off. I mean, of course, that kind of makes sense. I mean, for assembly-wise, and the fact that, I mean, it's a ballast compartment. It's replaceable. But you'd think it'd mostly just be the tray. But it comes off real nicely. And that lets us see our little gauge here for moving the reflector inside. We have our little spring-loaded clips for holding on our ballast compartment so it doesn't fall off completely when being serviced. And of course we have our socket here. I'm assuming it twists, and it should come right out. There we go. Nice and clean. So I'm gonna do this one separately as well so the whole thing doesn't get totally wet. And there's the inside. So it looks like we have a main kind of like backbone to it here that holds everything together, this brace that comes up. So we'll have some what looks to be like Allen wrench keys here to take apart, and that will allow us to hopefully take this front housing off, and we'll go from there. Now on the bottom of it here, we do have 4 what looks to be like Torx or star bit screws to take off. Now I'm going to be gentle in doing this because I don't want to ruin this sticker, but I assume the sticker's made for outside, so it should be, you know, wet location okay. But yes, we will continue to take it apart. I'm surprised, at least on this side of the housing, a little bit of scrubbing, not much elbow grease at all, and all this stuff comes right off. But this side isn't as rough as the other side here in terms of fibers. So maybe it'll be the same. Maybe this side just had a little bit more sun in its life. I don't know, but we'll continue on because that seems quite promising. For a first quick scrub, I think it turned out really good. I mean, it looks amazing compared to what it looked like before. There's the big main support. Got it off of the back here. A little tricky getting this wire out without ruining it, but if you twist it a certain way, you're able to slip it out of there. Anyway, I'm going to move along and we'll clean up our main housing here. So we need to get off the front before I go ahead and do that. And we'll also do a little bit of corrosion cleanup on this as well. I have to say, the way that they sealed up the inner compartment here works really well because it is incredibly clean. I don't even see like bug debris or anything, which is absolutely amazing, because here in a American made, or you know, a regular street light for us. There are gaskets to hold the reflector assembly on to the refractor, and so that bugs don't get in between there, but of course you see a whole bowl of bugs in the bottom anyway. But wow, this gasket did a really good job. So now, looks like we just have our reflector here on this sliding mechanism. So if we take out like 2 of these screws, looks like we'll be able to just kind of lift it out of here. And we got some little spacers here for the screws for the glass. I was wondering what was falling down when I was unscrewing it. I guess that would be our answer. It's not the easiest thing to do in this bucket, but it's amazing what a little bit of elbow grease can do. It's certainly a lot better than it was. This is only the first time of me cleaning it. I'm gonna go ahead and clean it a second time a bit later. But the first cleaning has gone well. We got a bunch of other things cleaned up too, which is nice. Murky water. All the stuff we cleaned yesterday has been sitting overnight, so I am sure it is dry by now. So let's put together the Line Materials NEMA head and the GE teardrop. There's the Line Materials fixture. Now we'll move on to the GE. And there's the GE. They're both looking pretty good now. I really do hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. Leave a like down below and a comment. I do enjoy reading all of your comments. Of course, check out the other videos here on the screen. And until next time, thank you very much for watching.